I started Surviving Skye with the goal of bringing more awareness to my sister Skye's disappearance. And I thought the best way to do this would be to start a podcast. That way I can really get into the details and bring some humanity to this case. The truth is, I didn't know how to start a podcast. So when I discovered Spotify for podcasters, it had everything I needed. I could record, edit, and then send it out to all the streaming platforms out there. I didn't need to take too much time getting hung up on all the technical aspects. So if you're out there and you're listening to this and you have something that you're passionate about and you just feel like you can inform the world about what you know, then why not start a podcast and check out Spotify for podcasters today. This is episode 7 of Surviving Skye. Conversations with Our Mother, chapter 4. This is the last installment of a longer conversation that I had with our mother. Though I do have more content from that conversation, it does seem to go off the rails after this point. But need not worry, this has been an amazing experience for my mother and I. And my mother has expressed great interest in doing another episode for the podcast. Or maybe I'll convince her to write a book with me. Because let's be honest, she has been the star here. So it goes without saying there's limited editing. And if you're new to the podcast, don't start here. Start from the beginning. And as always, thank you for taking the time to listen. If you have any questions regarding anything on these episodes, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll do my best to put out any clarification if needed. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my mother, Susan Budnick, and myself, Megan LeBron.
Now tell me how you would be. I was the type that, okay, it was right after Skye, and I got up in the morning, I did my thing, and I'm functioning, all right. I already did my cry. Everything's going on. I'll probably cry during the week. I'll cry in work, whatever. But I can still get it done. It was when people reached out to me and said they were sorry about what happened with Skye.
The anger?
And no,
Okay.
Mine was, well, yes, I guess it could be anger. There was one of my coworkers who worked right next to me. I walked in, and she just came up to me and hugged me. And I was like, I just got myself under control.
Oh, yeah.
If I start to cry, I will not be able to do the job. And I just looked at her and I said, I can't talk about this, please. And she's not understanding. Mm-hmm. And then I think I raised my voice. I can't talk about this, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And because, you know what? I have production. I have work. But at the same time, I could have taken FML. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get paid for anything. Yeah. And with mine, I would have to, oh my God, honey, I would have to explain it. Do the forms to get the time off, and I'm not going to get paid for it. So you want me to rip up my guts, show them to you, then stuff them back in.
Just to have like 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
Yep. I know. And that's why it's really hard to get help, because finding a good therapist or getting the paperwork and going through the bureaucratic process is too much. It's too much when you already have all that on your plate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I noticed in my situation when I started putting this out there and doing the TikTok is how little the people I thought were closest to me actually knew, because I was dealing with the all the countless scenarios in my head over and over and over again. So when I saw my friends, I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to talk about it.
No.
They knew nothing about it. And for some reason in my head, I was like, they know everything. They know what's going on. They knew nothing.
They knew nothing. I know.
And I always felt that like I was a burden. Like, I was just, like, a killjoy to hang out with. Like nobody wanted me around because I was just, like, either angry because they weren't picking up on what I needed, but I also wasn't explaining what I needed. And that's my own fault, you know, because I didn't know how to explain it. Because, like, I was already, like, tormented by it, so I thought they knew. But nobody knew.
My reaction was a little different. I did not want to talk about it because I'm living it day in and day out. When I would go visit my sisters, and if Tracy wanted to say something to me, I would change the subject. And I told her finally, I said, I'm living with it every day. I'm coming to see you to get a break. Tell me about your boys. Tell me about what's going on. Because you know what? If I can give an hour of not thinking about Skye, it sounds awful. But you know what? I just wanted that hour not to think about Skye. I really did.
I think it's tough. Like, I know now I have a lot of people recommending, like, listen to this podcast or listen to this story about this other missing person case. And I can't. Still can't to this day.
No.
And it's not that I don't want these other people to get, like, their happy ending or some sort of resolve. Like, I can't listen to it because it's too painful.
It hurts too much. It's like when I watch you do the TikTok, and I'm saying, and I even talked that to you, I said, that takes a lot out of you. People don't realize how painful it is for you to do your TikTok because you're literally tearing out your guts, putting it for the world to see. And it's horrible to say, but a lot of people just have no idea. And it's like, oh, well, you probably did it wrong, or, you know.
I mean, this is what I would have done. But the thing is like, nobody, I don't care, like, what you've been through. Like, if you're confronted with a situation like this, like, you do not know what you're doing.
You don't know what you're doing.
It's not the movies. It's not that. It's not a cool book. It's
which
just...
you will be over with in an hour, and everything will be fine one way or the other. Tracy's husband, who's a lawyer, worked with the local police in multiple cases, and I guess there was a policeman who he turned private detective to after, and Tracy said, talk to him. Rick talked to him, and if I wanted to call him up, so I got his phone number. Oh my God, honey, it was the worst experience. First thing is, he said I did everything wrong. First thing is, I should have hired a private detective. They would have interviewed all the girlfriends. They would have interviewed the teachers. They would have interviewed people at Edwards, where Skye had her part-time job. They would have. Oh,
right.
No, it was Edwards at that time.
No, it wasn't. Edwards ended in, like, 1992.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was Matt. It was Price Chopper, where she worked.
It wasn't Edwards for Matt either.
No, Edwards was...
It was in the same area.
Right.
But it wasn't Edwards at that time. Like, Edwards literally ended in, like, 92.
I worked at Edwards.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And so what happened was... God. And so
it was Shaw's.
Oh, yes! That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's yelling at me at the phone how I did everything wrong.
But how are you supposed to know? The police don't even tell you what they're looking for, what they're doing.
Yeah.
And, like, these protocols aren't easily accessible to people who are in need of them to make sure that they're being met. There's no department out there who is making sure that these are checked off.
But he did have one point. Is he said we would have interviewed all her friends. Her friends, and he was so adamant, her friends knew. There's no way a young girl isn't going to share with her friends. And we talked with the friends.
Yeah.
And we talked with Shauna, who practically lived with us.
Yeah. And nobody knew.
Skye kept it.
Do you know what something I noticed? On some of her friends' Facebook pages and stuff, there's videos. And if Skye's in the video, she's still in the background. She's still not talking.
Yeah.
She's still, like, at a distance. She's always an arm's length away and not being fully invited in.
Yeah.
And I feel as though, like, though she had her friends, I don't think they knew her.
No. No, honey, we didn't know her.
I know.
That's what it boiled down to. Skye. Skye now? That was hindsight. Skye was a mystery.
I know.
I mean,
Nothing makes sense.
I wish I could make people understand the Skye we knew.
Yeah.
Because then they would say, oh no, she couldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she did it.
She did do something.
She did do that, and she had to have help.
Yes.
There was no way she could not have had
Not
that.
where she went. If, like, she went to, like, Tokyo, got a one-way ticket there, and was just like, I'm going to go for, like, a joyride for a little bit.
What the hell, Sapporo? There's nothing
There's
there.
nothing there. It makes
mean,
no sense that she went to Sapporo.
no sense. There's nothing there.
No.
Nothing.
Nothing for
Tokyo
it's not
was
like,
things to see or do.
and it would be like where, you know, her interests lie.
More anime people.
Yes.
Even if it was the cherry blossom, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Why here?
Yeah. And so why? Okay, so
Even the police said the same thing.
like, why there? Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And at that time, shall we say, we didn't have enough time to think it through.
Yeah. And of course, like, nothing's gonna really sink in or resonate until, like, not in that kind of situation, not under that much stress.
Yeah.
Not in a foreign country. Not when you just don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
We just didn't know.
We just didn't know. Yeah. We just did. It was just the two of us. And we simply bumbled through, did what we were told. What else could we do? We're in a country that we had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It is.
Yeah. And she would stand out. She would stand out like a sore thumb.
Oh my
there.
God. After we were there and walking around, especially watching the people, oh my God, you would have spotted Skye.
Yeah, from space.
Oh yeah. It was kind of like that.
What?
Remember when we were walking home and we were talking and we were looking at the people and we said, they'll find her.
Yeah.
Because you know
It
what?
was almost like even the first few days they were just like, it was a pretty quick realization that we stood out. So it was just like, oh, they'll find her like quick.
Oh
This
yeah,
will be,
they're
like,
gonna
in
find
a few
her.
days.
Yeah, because we'll go
once
home.
like the
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't hit until like we were like gonna leave almost. That like it was so
Unreal.
like, unreal. Like how could she
yeah.
not be? And like where she went also didn't make sense. It was just like a resort town, hot springs.
Yeah.
And she went to one inn for like 2 days, and then another inn like barely 5 miles down the street.
Yeah.
I'd say like it's probably like walking distance.
The only thing I
don't
can
know.
think of now, when we have all this time to think about it, is she was waiting for someone.
Yeah, she was told to go there.
She was told to go there, and she was told, I don't know what she was told, but she was told something.
Yeah, she had her computer with her. She had her like Nintendo DS, and like that's the thing that
She didn't even have remember when we went through her whole room and find out what did she pack? So we have an idea of what was going on. Barely anything was packed.
yeah,
It wasn't like she had a pile of luggage.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she had a suitcase or anything. It was just maybe a backpack.
Yeah.
I don't know. She had a coat. I don't know.
What was she thinking?
No idea. And that's another thing. Like the whole, if she was gonna commit suicide, like okay, you're on that plane for so long.
Oh my God! You
with
would have
your
committed suicide
thoughts.
on the
Well,
plane.
I
my
know
God.
it's a long flight, but like you're taking that time.
The fear.
You're sitting there alone with your thoughts. This is like, I'm going to go see the place that I've been dreaming of, and I'm just going to kill myself there. Like, it just doesn't
make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense to go through that effort.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, it's one thing, like, we found her email, and then we found her body a few weeks later in Connecticut.
Right.
I feel like that makes sense. It's the whole trip to Japan.
There was a goal.
Yeah.
And you don't and that, I mean, it wasn't to end her life.
No.
It was not. No. And to go land in Tokyo, then take another plane
Yeah.
to go to Sapporo, and then go to a hotel. She had trouble getting I believe a train ticket, and someone helped her. Get a train ticket. She had an itinerary. She knew where she was going,
Yeah.
and then she just
And
disappeared.
then she disappeared.
Yeah.
I feel like there's somebody out there who has her or who did something to her.
Yeah. So
100%.
yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Nothing
any
else
other way.
makes sense.
Where would this,
Yeah.
5'8", 180-pound white woman go in the middle of Sapporo?
Because
No idea.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Even if, she got attacked or, well, see, that's another thing, too, that always kind of... Another scenario is that there was 10 days before anything was really done.
Yes.
That leaves someone open, very vulnerable.
Yes.
And if she was already crying,
Yes.
just to get it, couldn't figure out a
train ticket.
a train ticket. She could have just had intentions to go for this crazy, I'm going to Japan, fuck it all, but I'll come back and buy a plane ticket later. But there could have been something else that happened in those 10 days, unrelated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some sort of injury, some sort of abduction, something unrelated.
But she went.
I know.
Where would she know?
Why there?
Yeah. Why in that part of Japan? There's nothing there.
I know.
And they never found a passport or anything else.
Nothing was left behind.
Yeah.
Nothing was left in the rooms or anything.
Nothing was left.
Now, when they told us, so she was spotted on the 10th. I think it was after the press conference. So it was
Well, the press conference let people know she's missing. And then they had a report with a taxi driver.
Mm-hmm.
They had a report from the teacher from Australia who helped her get the plane ticket.
Mm-hmm.
She
train
had,
ticket.
right. They had interviews with the hotel where she stayed.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
There really wasn't any more information. And that's what they were waiting for, to gather as much information as they could. That's what the interview was for.
Yeah.
To get us out there, to let the people of Japan know that this young woman, she's missing. They did have a helicopter fly out in a certain area.
Yeah. They found bodies.
Well, they found one body.
One body.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that wasn't Skye.
And it wasn't Skye. Yeah. It was just kind of, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have your resources, and I understand a budget. I understand the resources that they had, and they weren't going to, I believe, actively search.
Yeah.
They will gather information. They will search if they have something to search for.
But they can't just
no
knock on every door.
No. That is, I mean, wouldn't it be nice if they did? But
Yeah.
that's not reasonable. It's just not a reasonable thing. And I know, talking to the ambassador, I would email him, and they would let me know.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything. Her picture's still out there. We will let you know.
And it was just a waiting game.
Yeah. And then you get on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we did. You met Timmy. Well, actually, is that you knew Timmy before?
Yeah.
You married him.
Mm-hmm.
He's delightful.
I'll let him know.
Yeah. Oh, I already told him. You have your little boy.
Mm-hmm.
You get on with it.
Yeah.
And you make a life.
Yeah, I guess so.
But it would be nice if we could change things for other people.
Yeah.
Because we're not the only ones. Oh my God,
No.
we are not the only ones. And that is it. That, I think, is your purpose. When I watch your TikTok, sure, we're going to say what happened to our sister, but you know what? What happened to your loved ones?
Mm-hmm.
Where can we go? Is there something we can do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Because the pain, I know.
Because it's I feel like when it's something like a terminal illness or a murder or something like that, where there's you can actually find a group of people who can talk about it. But when you're actively missing somebody, you don't want to get together with those people. Do you want to go to a missing person support group?
No.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Because
really.
it's not, yeah, because it's just like, you're still in the thick of it.
Yeah.
No matter how many years go by. At
It's
least
still there. That
it's
whole,
still there.
The whole thing, I think, sometimes is the most painful thing. To me, the most painful emotion is hope.
Yeah.
It is the
Yeah.
hope. And now, after so many years go by, I would just like to know.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not expecting to find her. I'm not. But
What your mind does
It's-
with that like little sliver of hope.
it's the hope that kills you.
Fuck yeah.
It's the hope. I remember coming home. It was maybe a week or two after I got home. And I don't remember my dreams. I just don't. Some
Yeah.
people are fortunate is to remember their dreams. I don't. And my dream was basically, I've never had something so alive and so vivid.
Mm-hmm.
And my dream was, I woke up and I walked out my bedroom door, and Skye's bedroom door was open, and a suitcase was on the bed opened. Oh my God, I woke up with that dream, with me walking into her room and the suitcase open. And it just brought, she's not at home, but it seemed like she was at that moment. Skye was home. Yeah. And I do know one thing, it does change you. Our emotions, I call it, our emotions are very close to the surface. So if there's a problem, I don't want to say, but any kind of stress, it's Skye's there too.
Yeah.
So, if you have a bad day, just a bad day at work, or something happened, the tears are quicker,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always right underneath the broken car or the bad day at work. This Skye.
Yep.
It never goes away. You're dealing with that loss on top of your everyday life. It's just something that you deal with. Because you don't have a choice, honey. The world is going to keep spinning with you or without you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah. Well, that felt good.
Yeah.